Okay, we're going with this. The sub-party is mostly there just to get bond points. And it's just a Zerker. What could possibly go wrong? I say, jinxing myself. The Ortinax exoskeleton is operating within expected parameters. Internal pressure regulation, combustion, and weaponry are all good to go. So many R's. Armored shielder is clear to deploy. Well, filling up to this match? Yes, all of my readings and transformations are working well. Although... What's up? I thought you'd be ejecting me again, but this chamber and model both seem very different. Well, sure. Last time you were sending me into the thick of an ongoing battle, but this time we're just having you check out our surroundings. Besides, Master's coming along with you, and we can go shooting you both out, can we? Ah, right. Good point. I forgot that Senpai will be joining me. Alright, let's try this again. Are you all set? Yes. Armored shielder ready to deploy. You got it. Shadowboarder, open the hatch. We are go for a recon mission. More ice. And that super bright sun. Senpai? Aren't you cold? No, not a bit. I know we can see our breath out here, but like this. Whew. But that's the worst of it. Don't worry, I'm fine. My cold-resistant gear helps a lot. Besides, it's not as bad as here as it was in Russia. It does make sense that Scandinavia would still be freezing, though. Cold-resistant. Cold-resistant. All that aside, this place is very snowy, isn't it, Senpai? It's 3 degrees Celsius, but the wind isn't cold at all, and the air feels crisp and clean. It feels like a real winter wonderland compared to Russia. I'm sure the temperature will drop to well below zero once night falls, but right now, I'm just enjoying how peaceful it is. Same. This place would get a lot of tourists if it existed in our history. And yeah, I'm avoiding that option. I agree. I was just thinking the same thing. We still don't know exactly what this Lost Belt is like, but at least this place seems quite peaceful. It's enough to make me hope that maybe not every Lost Belt is dangerous. Oh, Mash. But this really isn't the time to wax philosophical. Let's get started, Master. Alright, it's perimeter check time. Right. Let's start by looking for some sort of hill, so we can get a better view of our surroundings. The border is recharging for now, while it stays camouflaged in the snow. Da Vinci said it would take about 3 hours for it to charge up completely, so let's do our best to explore as much as we can in that time. Okay, we've reached the top of that Okay, we've reached the top of that hill. Nani? It's nothing but snowy fields as far as I can see. And then there's... Senpai, look! What? Cool. Are the mountains on fire? Look at that! It's a white mountain raging, stretching on forever. And I think they're made of ice and snow? There's something sort of blue haze to the north, about halfway along the range. Wait, is that? flames. Yes, there's a fire burning in the parts without trees. I can't see such a thing happening naturally, so there must be some sort of magecraft at work. So, that's what this lost belt is. A world of mountains, white ice, and blue flame. And then there's the sun? It's much too big to be the sun though. Yeah, that's super bright. This doesn't add up. I've heard parts of Scandinavia can get almost no sunlight for months at a time. But I've never seen anything about the sun being this size. I doubt any such records even exist. This is a lost belt, I guess. The sun, huh? And another thing, I don't see the Tree of Emptiness anywhere. Huh? We saw it before we got into the storm. It was clearly visible from outside the Lost Belt. I can't imagine it was suddenly wiped from existence, so maybe it's being hidden with magecraft. Well done on the reconnaissance, you two. We finally had a moment to catch your breath here. Holmes! It seems you're about 500 meters away. Well chosen. That's just about the perfect distance, since you're still unable to detect hostile entities. Thankfully, our emergency exit didn't strain the border as much as we anticipated, but I'm afraid it's still not going anywhere for the time being. Still, we cannot afford to waste any time, which is of course why we sent a pair of you out to investigate. A land of fire and ice, It seems that this lost belt will present its own challenge, as I feared. A song of ice and fire. That's all we can see from here. Thank you just the same. We have a faint visual here as well. The sun doesn't appear to be far larger than is normal, but it should be tens of billions of years before it reaches this size. Yeah, and supernova. We still don't understand how drastically a lost belt can change its environment, but if this one has transformed our sun into a red giant, were that the case, forget the ice and snow, the whole world will be a scorched desert. Yeah, that's actually a good point. If the sun is much bigger, then shouldn't it be pretty hot? Miss Kyrielite may be able to survive such an environment, but Mrs. Ritsunan most assuredly would not. Yes, which means that may not actually be our sun. So it might as well be something that looks like the sun, but in fact is not. I don't recall anything along those lines in Scandinavian or Germanic folklore, but I'll take another look just in case. What about the fire? I have a theory about that. First, take a closer look. Nothing's actually burning. I'm not sure how it works, but the fire appears to be something entirely separate and floating above the mountains. Is it? Mysterious to be sure, but there is little cause to doubt this phenomenon is the result of some form of magecraft. Whatever it is, it must be the work of a cryptor or the Lost Belt servant. That I can say for certain. What could their true name be? Skadi? Mr. Holmes really hit the nail on the head, senpai. Well, of course he did. He's famous for always finding the truth of any situation right away. And of course, for captivating readers with his brilliant and elegant deductions. Fangirl mash. Thank you, Mrs. Kyrielite. Though I must admit, it's a touch embarrassing to be so effusively praised for the novelations of my cases. But Perhaps that's not so bad every once in a while. I am not usually one to skip right to the conclusion, but yes, I am quite certain that the one who created those flames is... What is it? Do calm yourself, Phil. Oh, fuck you! Phil? What is it? Is something wrong? Random battle. Master, get behind me. We've just discovered an enormous humanoid creature. An enormous humanoid creature, you say? I see. That is troubling. Most troubling indeed. He appears to be about 5 meters tall. His arms are very long, and he's wearing some sort of mask. I think he's speaking a language of some kind, but... Zerker language. I can make out what he's saying. It sounds more like an animal howling than any language I know of. Hello? Bonjour? Guten Tag? Ni hao? Konnichiwa? Please listen to me. We are not your enemy. We don't mean you any harm. We are... But he means us harm. It's no use, Mash. Master, I'm afraid he's coming right for us. He's about to attack. I'll back you up. Understood. Moving to intercept the hostile. Battle time. Oh, Yotan. I mean, it is Norse myths and all, so it makes sense for them to be here. And that's actually a lot of HP, I just noticed. Eesh. Ouch! Cool animations though. Some Betty time. Nice. It is a berserker, so more damage. The animations look really cool too. Also, good on him for attacking the foreigner. It went better than expected. Giant's ring. Oh, okay. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I went and did a bunch of CE bombs just to get rid of the excess CE. And yeah, it should work now. A Zerker and an assassin. Why not? Maybe the Zerker is another Jotun? Skadunk. The battle The battle is over. We've neutralized the threat. Aw, poor Mash. Thank you for your concern, Master, but I'm alright. The sudden attack just had me a little out of breath, is all. It's nothing to worry about. Are you sure about that? All my vital signs are fine. I'm still good to go. I'm doing my best to analyze the recording and battle data now, but at this point, I can only say that the creature you fought is nothing like we've seen. Yeah, they had a custom sprite and everything. Neither a heroic spirit, nor a demonic beast. He was simply an enormous humanoid creature, native to Scandinavia. One that could not possibly exist in the 21st century. A giant. Did somebody say Titans? As in mythical giants? Correct. I'm pleased you're already familiar with them. I read that a number of powerful giants used to live in Scandinavia. Of course, this was all a long time ago. In the modern era, there have barely been any giant sightings in Sweden, Denmark, or Norway. I believe most of them were during the Age of Gods, back when the old mystics still existed. I'm sure there are some exceptions, but even so, to encounter one out of nowhere like this. Both Gordolf and Mr. Munir are in something of a tizzy about this impossible encounter. But yes, in the year 2020, giants have long since ceased to exist. And yet, what's with the V's? You've obviously just met one. Albeit one that tried to kill you even after you attempted to communicate with him, but still. I caught a glimpse of his eyes behind the mask and he seemed consumed by bloodlust. Well, it is a berserker. But then again, if it's living, it's not really bothered by classes and stuff. So in this version of Scandinavia, creatures from the Age of Gods still live. That is most troubling. I had considered the possibility, but I didn't think it would prove to be true so soon. Damn you, Cryptors! Damn you for throwing something like this at us only in the second Lost Belt. Have you no sense of restraint? Angry Holmes. That said, we are far from completely helpless. Miss Kyrielite, Miss Ritual. To begin with, I've updated our database with everything I could determine about this creature. We were unable to detect it from the border because Caldia had no information about ancient giants. Furthermore, I also learned something rather unexpected about the ice and snow surrounding us. What about them? They are imbued with a faint magical energy. The drift is so minute that only an expert mage would even be able to detect it at all. The small amount of magical energy created enough interference in our equipment that we were unable to detect the giant's approach. Da Vinci is still quite upset about it. She says being plugged in to function as a bio-unit dulls her senses. Nonetheless, I'll do my best to update our data immediately. I'm also sending an update for the Ortinex's firmware. Right. Confirming update now. Master! I'm picking up new hostiles in our periphery. There's at least several ice beasts traveling alongside another giant. We need to get out before we're surrounded. Understood. I can see them up ahead. Master! Time to fight then. What else are we gonna do? E-sulfur? So this is the new battle team? Also, these are basically the what? Ugalu? The Ugalus from Babylonia, but palette swap and ice. Nice. So many crits. Didn't die. Wait. The team is pretty cool. Nice. This one has less HP. Let's see. Yeah, just for one turn. Let's go. Nice. I have to wonder what's with them. What's with them in attacking Abby? should be enough. If it isn't, somehow, that would be scary. Ikuayo? Yeah, it's dead. So, oh yeah, the ice lions. I guess they're the wild beasts. I wonder if Protocol would be good in this map. Back in LB1 I kinda used him. He was the MVP back in LB1. That should wrap things up for now. We've defeated another giant and several ice beasts. I no longer detect any hostiles or magical energy signals in our vicinity. Wait. You're right, Mr. Holmes. I can sense faint magical energy around us. Coming from the snow. Maybe it's a server that can control snow? I'm not sure, but that certainly seems possible. Let's hash that stuff out later, you two. For now, you should hurry back to the border. Holmes, from now on, maybe start waiting until people are in a safe location before you start with your long-winded explanations. There's no guarantee that there aren't other giants still lying in wait out there. Both of you, get your butts back here. And be careful. Anyway, great job collecting all this data right after we've emerged. This should be a big help. Oh good, you're back. Welcome home, you two. It's good to be back. The Ortinax is working wonderfully. Thank you again for that. Glad to hear it. Gordle's having a little rest. Said he was having a nervous breakdown or something. I guess the emergency exit was pretty hard on him. Guess all that worrying he did about scouting out our surroundings after we emerged was for nothing. I wouldn't say that. He's trying to keep us safe in his own way. Naturally, his primary concern is his own survival, but that's still an important part of being a leader. When things get dangerous, you snap to attention. When things get dicey, you get right the hell out. That's how things are supposed to go, but the further removed the higher-ups get from the action, the softer they get when it comes to making those calls. So in that sense, Director Gordolf is exceedingly good at his job. I'm not sure why, but he seems to treat any danger his field operatives are as in danger to his own life. I mean, if they're dead, there's no one to protect him, so... I wonder what's that all about. Maybe he had a really strict tutor growing up or something. Yeah, probably. And actually probably not. He totally didn't, and it totally wasn't a homunculus or something. Wink wink nudge nudge apocrypha. You know, like someone teaching him to think about war from the perspective of the people he's sending out onto the battlefield. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. That would definitely explain some things. Still a dick though. Now that you mention it, he always looked like he was a lot in pain whenever Ritsunon was in a tight spot back in Russia. Talk about empathy. Oh really? No wonder he was always kicking up such a fuss. At any rate, Make sure you write up the recon findings in a nice report template when you hand it off to him, if you don't mind. That'll be more than enough to keep old Gordy in the loop. On a different note, you guys really had a rough time out there, didn't you, huh? Yes, we did. Giants are beings from the Age of Gods. Not even mages have seen more than the occasional fossil of them. Any survivors in areas where mystics were still in full force were probably seen as threats and taken out by the heroes of their respective ages. They're certainly not something you'd run into every day. I mean, you guys didn't see hide nor hair of any of them in the 7 eras you shifted to, right? Not even in the actual Age of Gods. And now we just happen to run into not one but 2 in modern-day Scandinavia? I believe those giants you encountered were Jotnar, members of the Jotun race of giants. In the Age of Gods, the Norse world was composed of 9 realms. And what? The only ones I remember are like what? There's Midgard, Asgard, Niflheim, Muspelheim, Helheim, Hohenheim. Okay, I'll continue. Sorry. Oh, I'm actually right! One such realm was Muspelheim, the land of flame. Another was Niflheim, the land of ice, through which an icy river of poison flowed. When these 2 realms collided, the poisonous frost melted. Then, when it was exposed to Muspelheim's heat, grew into a tremendous giant. Damn! Oh! This was Ymir, said to be the ancestor of all Norse giants. The race of giants that went on to spring forth from Ymir's body were called Jotun, the frost giants. These giants were truly beings belonging to the era where gods walked the earth. At times, the Jotnar would mix with the Norse gods, giving birth to new gods and giants alike. Like the Aesir and Vanir, something like that. Most of my Norse mythology knowledge mostly comes from what? Valkyrie Profile, the occasional TV trips Journey, and I guess a bit from what? From Thor, the Marvel Universe of Thor. Oh, there was also Kamigami no Asobi. Anyway, it's said that the surviving Jotnar eventually fell out of mythology and went on to become trolls. But what you saw today were no trolls. They were definitely Jotnar. Oh. Do you know a lot about giants, Holmes? I mean, it's Holmes. Yeah! I don't know why you're so surprised. You're just putting 2 and 2 together. Ha 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 ha. Well, I am Sherlock Holmes, you realize. I am the one who finds the truth, regardless of my spirit origin. I believe I said as much when I introduced myself. No, sorry. I'm just having you on a bit. You see, the paper moon, it's not the only thing I picked up while I was visiting the Atlas Institute. Trismegistus? Trihermes! Precisely. While there, I came in contact with the pseudo-spiritual calculation engine, Trihermes. When I did so, I happened to peruse some secret medical data pertaining to giants. Nani? Now I see. Holmes, you rascal. I don't see what's so funny. Don't you ha 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 me, Buster. You're supposed to tell me these things before I need to know them. It's not fair that you get to do all the fun exposition. Besides, we're a team. You know you should be pooling our knowledge and stuff. She's got a point. I shall take that under advisement, especially considering it comes from none other than the great Leonardo da Vinci herself. All that said, I certainly could use a bit more information myself. Is this simply a Norse lost belt where a once lost race of giants still runs amok? No, I very much doubt that is all there is to it. Right. The ones you saw today were powerful beings of mystics, but they were still living creatures. If nothing else, I can say for sure that the beings we encountered weren't servants. Correct. They were indeed absolutely not servants. Based on what we know from Russia, we can assume there is a being here who rules over this lost belt, and a crypter who tends to the Tree of Emptiness. While our primary concern is with the latter, there remains a strong possibility that we will come into conflict with the former as well. That said, our goal this time does not include engaging them in battle. Our intent is to cross Scandinavia without them ever knowing we were here, which obviously won't happen. Because when do things ever go our way? Yep, exactly. Still, we should really take a little break first, don't you think? Thankfully, there's a lot more magical energy concentrated here than it was in Russia, so the border shouldn't have any problems recharging. We'll set off again in a little while, so make sure you two rest up while you can. Hiking across snowy mountains does a real number on your legs and back, you know. I very much recommend getting those kinks ironed out while you can. Right, oh, but first I almost forgot. Mr. Holmes. Yes, Miss Curiolette? I'm sorry, but back when we had just looked over the mountain range, remember how you and Senpai were talking? At the time, there was something else you wanted to talk about. Alright, what's with the fire? Yes, the strange fire that kept burning without spreading. Do you know what it is, Mr. Holmes? I can't say I know for certain. I only have a hypothesis, albeit one in which I am quite confident. I suppose that will make this more of an induction than a deduction. At any rate, yes, that fire is none other than... Uh-oh. Another alert? Fo! What the hell? Are our sensors busted? Crap, no, it's worse. They're working perfectly. Ritsunon, Holmes, a freaking enormous magical energy signal just popped over near us out of nowhere. It's like a magical reactor core. This monster is on par with the Angraboda, powered by the greater girl. So many G's. Powered by the greater girl saw in London. Oh yeah, that was a thing. From the Mist City. Angraboda? Or whatever you pronounce it. Uh-oh. The boss fight? What's with the question mark? Okay, so that'll be it for this video. Don't wanna let things go on for too long, but I'll be recording I'll be recording this next section right after, so